I mean, you can't escape it. Wherever you look, everyone's collecting Pokemon cards, along with investing in Pokemon cards. And to top it off, it seems everyone's Pokemon collections are worth thousands of dollars. However, one thing a lot of people do not tell you is just how long these collections took to build, and also how many people actually gotten themselves in debt trying to build their collections, which no one should do. And that's why within this video, I'll be unpacking how to build a Pokemon collection on a budget and showcasing you actionable strategies to help you invest in a Pokemon collection that not only looks great and that you're proud of, but hopefully also appreciates over time. There's also another truth, which is that some of the coolest and most unique Pokemon cards cost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars. And a lot of collectors have aspirations to own these unique Pokemon collectibles. Now, if you do spend the money to acquire one of these Grail cards, I also think there's nothing really wrong with hoping your collectible retains value, or better yet, appreciates over time, because they're so expensive to acquire. I mean, that's what's so cool about Pokemon cards, right? They have this unique ability to mix your passions with potential profit. And the best part about all of this, it's a hobby that we all love and enjoy. Like, I wouldn't want anyone spending $1,000 on a Pokemon card and it becomes worthless one day, because something that's kind of been lost with all this whole Pokemon investing and, the whole Pokemon collecting world is just how much pride and joy owning high-priced collectibles can give a person. Because unless you're a millionaire, to own a Grail Pokemon card takes a lot of dedication, it takes a lot of planning, and it takes time to save for it. And when you actually get one of these Grail Pokemon cards, it kind of acts as proof that you were able to achieve something and you have something to show for it. Because man, I know when I look at one of my Grail cards, I specifically remember the emotion I had when I purchased it, the saving it took, the sacrifice it took to get some of these. And they provide so much more to me than just an investment or a cool collectible. They're almost like these little Pokemon trophies that I've awarded myself for my hard work. And that's why I actually really understand how much collecting Pokemon cards means to people. And more than that, I want to showcase how to own some of these Grail cards and give you strategies to build a Pokemon collection that you can actually be proud of, right? Because like I said, man, a lot of people get themselves into debt to try keep up with the Joneses or to try keep up with others online. And I'm actually going to be talking why you should never do this throughout this video as well. And also later on in the video, I'm actually going to cover some of my favorite ways to ensure my Pokemon collection holds value over time. However, I feel I actually need to give more context before getting into those details. Though, one of the main focal points, right, for building a Pokemon collection is that it does take time. One of the key areas where we can get easily fooled today is that a lot of people share end results, and we can fall into the trap thinking that that's kind of normal, right? Because this isn't just with Pokemon cards, right? This includes everything and anything in life, because people will show you how fit they are. They're going to show you their shredded and six-pack abs and all of that, but they're showing you the end result. They're not showing you the years of dedication something took. What's often missing from this puzzle piece is the journey. And the journey of building a Pokemon collection takes a lot of time. For example, a lot of people have been building their collections for 3 or 4 years, and when they showcase it to you online, and you may be thinking, wow, when I look at my collection, it looks so bad in comparison. But then again, the journey is the main aspect, because everyone's on a different path. For example, if someone has been collecting since Chilling Rain days in 2021, they may have slowly accumulated a lot of cards. They may have purchased a Blaziken VMAX. They may have purchased a few Evolutions from Evolving Skies. They may have gotten some Crown Zenith ETBs, a few chase cards from Pokemon 151. Then they may have purchased a Greninja from Twilight Masquerade, and so on and so forth. Now, when they show you their whole collection today, it may be valued for $1,000 or even $2,000 more than what they originally paid for it. And that's because they built a collection over time. And they built up that collection slowly, but not only did they build the collection slowly, but as they were accumulating these cards over the years, the chase cards also have been increasing in price at the same time. So you almost have this perfect blend of positives happening, because they are building their collection over a long period of time, all the while their cards are increasing in value. So when they show you a snapshot of their collection's worth today, it seems incredible, but that's because it was purchased over a long period of time, while their chase cards also grew in value. So taking your time when building a collection is incredibly important. Never underestimate how much value can be added to your collection when you slowly add it. Kind of like you drip feed it, right? Because a chase card purchased here, and then you purchase another chase card in a few months, over the course of a few years can really compound and add up. And that collection that cost you $1,000 can slowly increase, and as the years go on, something that you originally paid $1,000 for can be valued at $3,000 just by the natural market working in your favor. Though another area we need to talk about also is getting yourself into debt over Pokemon cards. So one really stupid thing I did when I was huge into building my collection was that I used a lot of buy now and pay later services to buy cards. Because one of the struggles I had was, if I buy this Pokemon card today, in a few months or in a few years, it's gonna go up in value. So what did I do? I over leveraged myself on cards and I put myself in a difficult situation. Now, there's a lot of reasons why I did this. I was unfulfilled with life, I was overspending as a coping mechanism, and truthfully, getting into debt today is much easier than ever before because of buy now and pay later services. Though one thing, if you're looking to build a Pokemon collection, is to ensure you are in the right position to buy expensive cards. Don't fall into the trap of watching content creators and you're trying to keep up with the Joneses, because you can really make some mistakes, and these mistakes I've already made, and I want to share that with all of my audience today to ensure you don't fall into that trap. Because the best thing is to take your time and build the collection when you have the money, right? And that's actually a big reason why I don't have a huge collection in my background, because I actually feel it can create an unhealthy energy on my channel. Because I personally consider all my audience friends of mine pretty much, because I don't really want fans on this channel. I want people who just genuinely enjoy my content and they kind of relate to me as a person, because I have overspent on Pokemon cards. I've really put myself in stupid situations, and I don't want anyone who consumes my content to do the same thing. That's why when you watch my channel, I really try to differentiate myself by not showing you my crazy collection, by not showing you all my sealed product in my background. It's more that you get to experience my journey and you kind of get to enjoy the world of Pokemon collectibles. Because I actually really feel that a lot of people who watch my channel really just appreciate the channel the way it is. So, always play at your own pace, because the cards are always going to be there, right? And something a lot of people won't tell you is, right, it's far better to buy a Surging Sparks booster box for $500, but you have the money and it's completely okay, than buying one for $250 when you don't have the means available. Never forget that. Now, also, I just want to say, I know I've been pretty open with you all, and if you do love these open discussions when it comes to Pokemon collecting and investing, please feel free to subscribe to the channel to stay in the loop for Pokemon collecting and investing related content. I mean, it's always great seeing new people on board the channel, and it actually really motivates me to continue having all these people to engage with and create content for. Now, in terms of building a collection on a budget, one important area is to focus far more on purchasing singles that you want rather than opening product. Now, I know it looks tempting, right? Because you can see a card that's selling for double or triple the price of the sealed booster box, and you're like, well, wait, why would I buy that card? Because I can just rip a booster box of it, and then if I pull that card, I can also pull another chase card. Though, if a card is expensive in the market, there's a reason why it's expensive in the first place. Never forget that, right? No Pokemon card ever becomes expensive for no reason. Pokemon cards don't just magically get their price points. There's always a reason for it, right? And if a single card is worth double or triple the price of a sealed booster box, it's because it's super challenging to obtain. There's no magic formula. There's nothing special about it. It's always written in the wall. It's expensive because it's difficult to acquire. So if you want a specific chase card, or if you want that grail card, it's far better to wait until the time is right and purchase the card rather than opening packs to chase it yourself. But I have found if you are going to rip packs and open them, it's very important to have the mindset that you're opening the packs with kind of like a zero expectation mindset, right? And you're literally doing it just to experience the set, because you really need to make that distinction, because the energy is completely different, right? If you're opening a new set because you're doing it for the pack opening experience and you don't care what you pull, then go for it. But if you have a certain card you really want, right? And I know we've all had this, right? And then you want to take the chance to open it from a booster box. Well, that's kind of where the problem can really start, right? Because I actually feel this concept is super important to understand if you want to build a collection. Because if you buy a chase card, you at least have an item you've acquired, and now you officially own the card. You've made the purchase, and even if it drops in value, you could potentially sell it, or if things go in your favor, it could increase in value. However, if you buy a booster box and pull absolutely nothing, which happens a lot of the time, you have effectively made your money disappear into thin air. And believe me, man, pulling nothing happens all the time. You know, when you're on forums or on Reddit or anything like that, you always see people showcasing their pulls because, you know, people are more likely to showcase their pulls when they get something good. No one posts their failures, so it creates a very fake reality. I mean, if you actually want to see some real experiences of pulling junk, dude, I got so many videos of my channel where I pulled absolutely nothing. You can see me opening 3 Shrouded Fable ETBs and not getting 1 special illustration rare. Or when I opened 2 whole boxes of Terrestrial Festival and I pulled 2 of the lowest valued SARs out of it. Or when I ripped open a Twilight Masquerade booster box and I didn't even hit 1 special illustration rare. I mean, dude, it happens all the time. I mean, those openings were really rough. And when calculating all of that cost, the total cost of all those ETBs and the booster boxes where I pulled hardly anything was around 440 USD. And that's $440 with hardly anything to show for it. However, if I use that $440 in a productive way, rather than trying to chase the hits, I could have bought a really awesome PSA 10 chase card for the same amount. Now, instead of that money that never went anywhere, I'd actually have a piece in my collection which also has the potential to grow. So this is really crucial to understand because there would be thousands of people who have spent so much money on booster boxes and pulled nothing, and now they have nothing to show for it. So the process of having their collection grow in value never begins in the first place. Though if they use their money strategically, they'd actually be building an incredible collection right now. Though of course, there's always certain cards which perform better than others, and usually to pick this is by understanding Pokemon as a franchise and, you know, learning what the fans respond to, right? If you are new or you're just maybe wondering, hey, is this card a good purchase? Or maybe you want some further clarification on an eBay listing you saw? Well, a really great resource for this is my channel's official Discord server. So we actually have over 5,000 active members and we've created an amazing space for collectors to help each other out. There's actually a specific section called questions where you can ask questions and get feedback from super experienced collectors. You can also join some really cool Discord exclusive giveaways. Feel free to join the server. The server invite is in the description of this video. Now, I did mention earlier in the video relating to my favorite ways to ensure my collections hold value over time. And while this can never be guaranteed, a great way is to look out for the grails, right? Because as I said, the top grails always have the largest buyer market and they are usually desired for years on end. For example, some cards may be equally desired during a period. However, as the years go on, the grail card usually remains while the other cards may fade into obscurity. For example, if we look at the Sword and Shield era, right? If we compare the Golden Snorlax from Chill and Rain versus the Lost Origin Giratina, now these 2 cards were very heavily desired during the Sword and Shield era. And believe it or not, while you may not think so right now, but this Golden Snorlax was once one of the most desired cards during the early Sword and Shield era. Now, while the Golden Snorlax was very desired during this specific time period, it never really was considered a grail, it was just an in-demand card. Whereas the Giratina V from Lost Origin was always considered a grail from the moment it released, and when looking at the difference in their prices a few years later, it's a pretty staggering price difference. You know, a question after all of this, right, is how do I ensure that my Pokemon collection truly holds value? And I actually do reveal the answer to that right here. Within this video appearing on screen, I go over the 5 ways to build a Pokemon collection that grows in value. If you enjoyed this video, then the video that's appearing on screen is your obvious next choice. Click the video that's on screen right now and we'll chat more about it there.